The stakes are at an all-time high as the Russell family finds themselves on the verge of getting everything they've ever wanted, while the Van Ridgenbrook family sees a change in their standing in the Gilded Age Season 3. Created by Downton Abbey's Julian Fellowes, the HBO historical drama is set in the eponymous New York era and follows both families vying for higher social status than the other. The Gilded Age Season 3 picks up some time after the events of the so-called Opera War, in which the Russell family came out on top after Bertha promised the Duke marriage to Gladys. As Carrie Coon's character aims to move forward with the marriage, Morgan Spector's George also risks the family's wealth with a desire to expand his railroad ownership that could also revolutionize the industry. All the while, the Brooke family house finds themselves struggling to reclaim their social standing, particularly as Cynthia Nixon's Ada becomes the new head of household, much to the chagrin of Christine Baranski's Agnes and the confusion of their servants. But as everyone's ambitions rise to dangerous proportions, their well-laid plans may bring more than just their social statuses down. With just a few episodes remaining in the season, Screen Rant interviewed Deborah Kampmeyer to discuss the Gilded Age Season 3. The director, who previously worked on Season 2 and returned for 3 episodes this season, offered insight into some of the biggest developments this season, including Ada's rise to power, the Russells' marital problems, and Marion's ongoing romantic problems. Ada's arc is really heart-centered compared to other Gilded Age characters. We are led on that journey of belief and hope and longing. Deborah Kampmeyer directing Cynthia Nixon and Christine Baranski on the Gilded Age Season 3 set. One of the biggest developments of the Gilded Age Season 3 has been Ada rising to the head of the Van Ridgenbrook household, even in spite of Agnes' interferences. This has also led Kampmeyer and fellow returning director Michael Engler to have fun highlighting this dynamic change in their visuals, even if those details are scripted by Fellowes and his writing team. Julian's so smart, and the wit that he writes in for this power shift is really delicious, Kampmeyer expressed. I think mostly you're really getting the fun of that shift in the performances between Ada and Agnes, but also between the staff and how, at this moment, the uncertainty of who's the boss affects the staff. It's really fun to lean into that. However, beyond her household problems, Season 3 has also continued Ada's heartbreak from the death of Robert Sean Leonard's Luke in the Gilded Age Season 2's penultimate episode, and her desire to carry forward his legacy with her temperance movement support. This, in turn, led to her learning of Andrea Martin's Madame Dashkova, a clairvoyant who claims to be able to connect her with Luke's spirit. Reflecting on this arc, Kampmeyer began by praising how Emmy winner Cynthia Nixon has played Ada and Luke's love story, calling it profound, and feeling that the star has influenced how Ada is really heart-centered in everything she does. She even recalls getting to film Ada and Luke's marriage proposal, in which Kampmeyer was crying when we were shooting it. Kampmeyer also celebrated the extensive, well-researched information that she, Nixon and the rest of the team get to work off of from Fellowes and Sonia Warfield, even down to utilizing actual drawings of these scenes and fortune-tellers. She also remains in awe of the show's production design team, who are really amazing in not just the creation of Madame Dashkova's space, but also making everything feel as authentic as possible. As to the actual story behind Ada and Dashkova's scenes, the director explained that the biggest challenge was to walk the line so that the audience can hope that this is real. This, in turn, makes the reveal that everything you've seen before is false all the more impactful, particularly thanks to Nixon's performance. Though the Season 2 finale saw the family finally get a step closer to everything they've wanted, the Gilded Age Season 3 has seen the Russell family reaching new emotional lows. George's railway plans threaten to bankrupt the family, while Bertha promising Gladys to the Duke for marriage has left them divided on what they want for their daughter. One notable scene involving this comes in Episode 2, in which George confronts Bertha by expressing, "I just want to know when I get a say in our daughter's life," to which she swiftly shoots him down with, "The day I'm in your boardroom." As Kampmeyer explains, their conversation is a broad reminder of the societal structure at the time. The children and their lives are in her domain, but the business is his domain, Kampmeyer denoted. However, with Bertha having taken it upon herself to win the Duke's respect at the end of Season 2, she was stepping over into George's domain, thus impacting the power dynamic in their marriage. "I think he does understand, at a certain level, the value of Gladys marrying the Duke," Kampmeyer explained. "And he says to her, 'Give him a chance. You can make the decision yourself, but give him a chance and see.' I think he does see the wisdom of Bertha's point of view around this, and what this would mean to Gladys." The director went on to praise how Coon and Spector hold that storyline throughout the season, creating a very taut atmosphere. For the aforementioned bedroom scene, though, the group all had the goal of leaning into each of their hearts, avoiding focusing on the fight or the discord between them, but instead on their growing distance. George's heart is so invested in his daughter's happiness and his promise to her, while Bertha's heart is so invested in this dream of the Duke, Kampmeier described. I talked to Carrie Coon about this, and I felt like we both agreed that there's a way in which we're seeing Bertha's inner teenager come out in her dream of the Duke. Her wish for Gladys is her own wish for herself, although George is her Duke in a way, Kampmeier continued. I do think she has a youthful, childlike dream that she is projecting on her daughter. It felt important to really lean into those two separate dreams, and to establish this distance between them. This culminates in a tense confrontation between the two after receiving a telegram from Gladys in which she's found herself bullied and disrespected by many around her. As Kampmeier explains, the telegram is really the breaking point in the growing distance between them, while also being intrigued by George's stance on not knowing who to blame. Calling it a shocking moment as George tells Bertha that, "I am no longer playing this game with you," the director also feels it's a devastating turn for their relationship as, "We're torturing our poor audience by pulling them apart." Yeah, George the Robber Baron is probably pretty awful, but we love him because of how he treats his wife, and we want that power marriage, Kampmeier expressed. Marion is closing her heart after so many romantic setbacks. Her response of closure makes so much sense. The Gilded Age Marion smiling with an umbrella. While her aunts have spent much of the season bickering with one another, the Gilded Age Season 3 has seen Marion finally get closer to romantic bliss after being jilted by Tom Rakes in Season 1 and awkwardly ending her engagement with Dashiell in Season 2, with